Shocking country elected to UN. Quote, Women's Rights Commission. Should we leave the UN? The United Nations continues to prove that it is an organization free from principles. The World Council has abandoned human rights for political correctness. The United Nations Economic and Social Council voted in a secret ballot last week to add Saudi Arabia to the Commission on the Status of Women for 4 years, despite Saudi Arabia's sympathetic abuse of women, via Breitbart. Hillel Neuer of UN Watch described the appointment stating, quote, electing Saudi Arabia to protect women's rights is like making an arsonist in the town fire chief. At least 15 members of the Social Council voted for Saudi Arabia, including at least 5 votes from European nations. The rights of women will only suffer with the addition of Saudi Arabia to the Commission of the Status of Women. How can Saudi Arabia promote female equality when women are considered property in their own country? Feminists in America and Europe complain that they are oppressed despite facing zero legal or systematic barriers in Western countries. Women in Saudi Arabia are systematically oppressed and are not considered equal to men under the law. Women in Saudi Arabia are not free. They are not permitted to drive, and they cannot leave the house without being accompanied by a male guardian. Typical guardians are a woman's husband or male relative. While women can formally enact divorce proceedings, the divorce is not recognized unless the husband agrees. The husband remains the guardian of his wife until he signs the divorce papers. Saudi women are forced to accept the laws and are unable to change them. Women are not allowed to be lawyers in Saudi Arabia. The Muslim country has allowed women to run for municipal elections since 2015, but female politicians cannot sit in the same chamber as male politicians and must communicate over video screen. The entirety of the Commission on the Status of Women is undermined by the appointment of Saudi Arabia. The Commission can no longer be trusted if the worst abuser of the rights of women is given a central seat at the decision-making table. The inclusion of Saudi Arabia proves how distorted the United Nations has become from its original goals of promoting international human rights. Do you think we should leave the United Nations for good? Yeah, I think so. Why should we continue to fund an organization that considers a country that stones women to death for a crime of adultery, a world leader for women's rights? I totally agree. But this has all to do with notice that all the wars that are being started and everything, it's because the Federal Reserve doesn't have the right, the Fed doesn't have the right in these countries, and that's why they don't go after Saudi Arabia. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.